Om Astoma Sadagamaya, Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya, meaning lead us from falsehood to truth, lead us from darkness to light, lead us from death to immortality. This slok emphasizes the journey from ignorance to knowledge, from darkness to light, and from mortality to immortality. It symbolizes the aspiration of spiritual growth and enlightenment. With this, I wish to set a tone for today's guest lecture, aiming at inspiring the audience to seek truth, wisdom, and eternal values. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the induction program for the batch of 2025-27. I, student manager Omkar Theurkar from Balaji Institute of International Business.
I, student manager Aditi Ketan Deshpande from Balaji Institute of International Business, will be the masters of ceremony for today's session. Distinguished guests, respected dignitaries on dais, dignitaries of dais, esteemed faculty members, and dear students, I welcome you all to this very exciting Ignite Spark the Potential guest lecture series at Sri Balaji University, Pune. Today, we have the honor of hosting Miss Christina Fernandes, ma'am, HR Director, Patent Technologies, India, who will be sharing her valuable insights here with us. We are thankful to you, ma'am, for sparing your valuable time to share your thoughts with students. On behalf of our Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, directors, faculty members, and staff, I would like to invite Dr. Rashmi Mahajan, ma'am, Deputy Director of Balaji Institute of International Business, to present a bouquet to Miss Christina Fernandes, ma'am, as a token of our appreciation.
Thank you, ma'am. To our respected guest, I may submit in all humility that Sri Balaji University Pune is proud of its four constituent management institutes, which are Balaji Institute of Modern Management (BIM), Balaji Institute of Technology and Management (BITM), Balaji Institute of International Business (BIIB), and Balaji Institute of Management and Human Resource Development (BIMHRD). Additionally, Sri Balaji University encompasses the School of Commerce and Management, School of Computer Sciences, School of Humanities and Social Sciences, School of Liberal Arts, School of Defense and Strategic Studies, Balaji School of Law, Balaji School of Actuarial Sciences, Balaji School of Media Communication and Journalism, Balaji School of Online and Digital Learning, and Balaji School of Sports Sciences. We also offer program in MA Chinese Studies and MA in National Security. Beyond these, we also have the Balaji Law College at undergraduate and graduate levels, the Balaji College of Arts, Commerce and Science, and Balaji Junior College of Arts, Commerce and Science. These institutions are renowned for their contributions to management education and have been ranked among the top in India.
According to the Times B School Ranking Survey 2025, Sri Balaji University Pune is ranked number 10 in top 100 B schools in the country. The university has secured the second position in top 36 private universities in India and has been ranked 4 in top 20 B schools in Western India. Also, the university is ranked number 12 in top 50 institutes as per their placements. We would like to say that we welcome more than 300 companies for campus placements.
At Sri Balaji University, the students are empowered with the class leading management education and depth corporate exposure. As learners, we are also taught the core values of discipline, dedication, and determination pioneered by none other than our founder chancellor, the late Professor Dr. Colonel A. Balasubramaniam sir, whose revolutionary pedagogy forms the DNA of Sri Balaji University. We at Sri Balaji University Pune, along with our classroom sessions, interactive corporate visits, and a plethora of renowned visiting faculties, also participate in complete range of extracurricular activities. Such exposures to learners ensures that the students evolve into disciplined, well-rounded, and focus-driven individuals who are well equipped to contribute to the field of their choice.
We have had the honor of connecting with more than 300 corporate titans as part of our induction program. They gave their valuable time to come and train us in a variety of formats, including seminars, workshops, management games, guest lectures, and so on.
Before we begin, let me call upon the student manager Ashish Moria to introduce our guest of honors to us.
Good evening, everyone. I, Ashish More, student manager at Balaji Institute of International Business. I am elated to introduce today's guest speaker, Ms. Christina Fernandes, ma'am, India Director, Human Resource Patent Technologies. Ma'am is a HR leader with over 17 years of experience in human resources, specializing in HR operations, employee relations, and organizational development. She currently serves as the Director of Human Resources at Patent Technologies, a fast-growing tech company in the GCC category, headquartered in Pune with a global footprint. Ma'am is a commerce postgraduate with dual master's degree, MBA in finance, and master in personal management. Her professional journey spans organizations like Egon Software, Nova Solutions, and Entrata, where she has built and scaled HR functions from the ground up. Her focus is on empathy driven relation leadership and has played a key role in fostering inclusive workplace cultures and building strong employee engagement frameworks. Dear all, please join hands in welcoming Ms. Christina Fernandes, ma'am, to the podium.
Hello. Hi, everyone can hear me loud and clear? All right. Thank you. Thank you for such a lovely introduction. And thank you for that unending round of applause. I know you had to literally ask to be like stopped, but thank you so much. Felt so nice. I know it's the end of the day, and I promise I'm not going to give you all any unnecessary gyan over here. I'm going to be talking more about personal experiences or experiences that I have witnessed. Uh, to sum it up in one word, it's like I wish somebody had told me these things before I was entering the corporate world. So I'm here to talk about those skills which you will require beyond just academics. And don't get me wrong here, with no disrespect to your textbooks or the beautiful minds that actually teach you, there is an extension to your academic, the efforts that you put if you have to be successful. And the earlier you start, the better it is for all of you, because I've learned things the hard way. And I'd like to share that with all of you so that, yes, thank you. So that you get it a little easier. There would be definitely some things that you all will have to learn the hard way. But if I can make that a little easy, then I feel I've done my bit. All right? Where? Okay. I'll keep this real. Okay. No management book gyan. Okay. You all will have a lot to do on that anyways. So beyond the books, what does this tell you all? Anyone? Think out of the box. Somebody said think out of the box. Yes. Anyone else? Practical, yes. Limitless. What do you mean by limitless? Okay. Exposure. Okay. questions and every a little more than that. Okay. So beyond grades, placements, networking, it is also resilience, people problems, communication, challenges, self doubt, and all this on repeat mode, because this will keep happening. There will be moments of self doubt. You cannot conquer self doubt once and for all. Okay, once I've conquered it, it will never come again. That's a myth. Okay. I remember once rambling to my sister about something at work, and she told me, you know what? If you can manage people, your half the work is done. Do you think that's true? Yes. How many think no? Yeah. I realized that we all, work, we deal with people. Maybe more, maybe less, but you can never say I'll work in complete isolation, not interacting with anyone, right? So that's where it struck me. I didn't realize this statement really hit me hard when my sister said it. All right. So I summed this entire, in the beginning that, nobody will, you know, test you on it, but you will be judged. You will be judged on the go, on the fly, in the meeting, in the interviews, right? Your skills outside the classroom will determine your long term success, right? What those skills are, some of them I've listed. The art of emailing. How many of y'all consider this an art? Wow. Yes, indeed. Without being a robot. Why did I say without being a robot? Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, AI is a friend, not a foe. I definitely agree to that. But I think you have to put in your own mind and your at least review what you're writing. I know that's a no-brainer. But one thing I would like to say is that if I'm talking to a person in person versus when I'm reading their email, I know it is AI, right? All of you'll agree. So I feel you're dealing with human beings, you're dealing with people. Let's not be so robotic in our email approach. Remember, emails, chats, virtual communication is tone deaf, right? You do not understand the tone, or it's very quick to, you know, you can kind of perceive it in different ways, right? Somebody may be angry and say, okay, fine. Whereas somebody may just say it as a normal matter of fact, okay, fine, right? So it is tone deaf. So you have to be very careful in terms of how you write an email, right? 70% of your work life is equal to email, right? You're communicating, you're working with an MNC, it goes beyond people just sitting in your office, right? The good email, clear, kind, direct, and also right. I'll also add one more point to that is brief. Okay. Avoid writing long stories and paragraphs and explanations until unless you don't have a choice, of course. But otherwise, I'll always say, pick up, go on your Zoom call, explain the situation, and then sum it up via mail. The bad email, passive aggressive, vague, 14 CCs and no owner. Passive aggressive. What is passive aggressive? Not being, sorry, I didn't get that. Not being a little louder. Correct. Correct. Without using harsh words. Sarcasm, would you all call sarcasm passive aggressive? Sarcasm? Okay. So this is an email. Take a minute to read this. Let me know once you all are done. Or maybe just raise your hands. All done? Done? All read the email? Yes. What is wrong with this email? Informal. Okay. Why informal? What makes you say it's informal? Choice of words. Okay. The tone. Okay. Ambiguous. Yes. Unnecessary information. What can you call out the line which is unnecessary? Running from responsibilities. Okay. Sorry? Being vague. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes. All agree with these points? Should an email be like this? No? Absolutely. You guys are right. Lacks a clear subject line. Did anybody notice the subject line? Did you find it vague? Right? Subject line is the thing a reader will first notice, right? So it was very vague. Uses impersonal. I think somebody already called that out. You guys are smart. I think you're kind of caught all the flaws. So uses an impersonal greeting instead of addressing the recipient by name. Doesn't follow any logical structure and only complains and demands. Right? Only complains and demands. And that's also vague. I don't know what time it will be, but be there. Right? Uses demanding an aggressive tone that demotivates the recipient. Right? Somebody mentioned reprimand. There is absolutely no clarity in that email. And neither the person or the sender of the email is mentioned even a one liner. Right? If you need any further clarification, get in touch with me. Ends abruptly without a professional closing or next steps. Very abrupt. Right? Don't worry, we don't all get like these emails. Okay, this is just an example. This is another example. Read this. This looks more, you all can complete the sentence. Once you'll read, I will give you all context. You'll have read it? Done reading? How does this email appear prima facie? Professional, clarity, good start. Okay. Good start. I agree. Understanding. Okay. Okay. Detailed. Okay. Lacks salutation. Okay. Okay. I'll give you all context now about this email and then you all tell me if all the things you said is right. This is an email this is an actual email from a person in finance written to the HR. Now, the context was there was a new implementation of, let's say, cost centers, uh, and the finance person sent an email at 11 p.m. 11 p.m., mind you. 11:30 p.m., no response. So since we have our internal communicator called Slack, uh, sends a message, send this data, it's urgent and all that. Okay, now the team that this finance team sent basically had no clue about this implementation because the implementation was done by the finance team, right? So it was an implementation but done by the finance team to be followed by the rest of the team, the rest of the department, sorry. So now this person from the finance team is sending an email at 11 o'clock, following up on the Slack channel at 11:30 p.m. to get this information. And that's wherein the recipient of this email wrote back and said, hey, you know what? We have no clue about this. You're asking us at 11, you're following up at 11:30 and saying, give it to me urgently. This, you need to give us time. We need to have some training around this. And, you need to educate us, sensitize us, and then we can implement and help you with the necessary rectifications. Right? This was the context. This is what email came in response. So I'm sorry, this email is flawed. Why? So I've read the email clearly. There's a sentence. While we can make sure, sounds slightly passive aggressive. While we can make sure, it sounds like you're doing a favor, right? It is something that is created an unnecessary sense of urgency without kind of giving the necessary knowledge transfer, right? I would just like to highlight one thing, sounds as defensive, right? Ending on a helpful note is good, but always happy to help. This is like totally out of context, right? Happy to help. They are supposed to do it thoroughly before asking for information from the other teams. This is the format that it had to follow. Acknowledgement, explanation, future action. It should be clearly called out, right? Rather than just rambling. It was not my fault. This happened, that happened, and I hope you understand. But we had no document available, unclear whose responsibility it was, no accountability. Date inconsistency, 23rd September is a Monday, but if updates were done around 13th, there was a 10-day gap. Discrepancies were identified and shared ASAP. This is a small thing, probably just use prompt instead, promptly. And last, this is like helps you understand the nuances, slightly patronizing, right? So these are the nitty-gritties that come with emails. It's not as simple as the first one. Okay. It comes with a lot of context. If you read it without context, the email appears thoroughly professional. So this is what I mean by 70% of your communication is emails, and how careful you have to be in terms of context, in terms of tone, in terms of language, right? How you frame your sentences. So communication is not just about being grammatically clear. Agreed? All right. Saying I don't know without feeling dumb. I think a lot of people have this problem. I have no clue why. You don't know something, you don't know, right? Is it wrong? How many of you all feel it's wrong or it kind of puts you down? You know why I brought this point? Because we have few interns in our office and they just don't want to say, I don't know. Asking questions is good, it's a good thing, but ask to understand. Don't ask so that you can get every information ready made without having to do your research or homework, right? Ask questions to understand what is expected of you. Ask for that clarity. Faking it, instant loss of credibility. I'll tell you one example of an intern. She came, she was on a 2 month summer internship program, and she gave a presentation very well, like, very, very confident. The way she delivered, I think probably, you know, it was here to give an applause until the Q&A round came. She was asked a question like, once you finish the presentation and then you have Q&A, and then, she had to open it for questions. And they asked, one of the team members asked her a question, is that, okay, it was about 9-box grid. I don't know how many people are familiar with that. So they asked her a question saying that, what other avenues would this be useful? She didn't know the answer, didn't pause, immediately, it's even helpful for managers to do this and that and this, and the whole presentation was about that. But she just went on rambling. Like, I think, she just lost it. She just lost that credibility. That entire effort she put in the presentation was just lost. If she had to just say that, I'm sorry, I did not explore that avenue. So then I had to interfere and say that, okay, you know what, it was just for a target audience of first time managers, which is why it was a more focused approach. But if she had to kind of just own it up that, okay, or just say things, there was nothing wrong, I think she would have been a permanent employee today, right? So yeah, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to own up something. Don't fake it. Okay? Is it okay to say, I'll get back to you on that? I remember one meme, and especially this is very specific to HR people. I saw one meme with a skeleton waiting with a cigarette, and it says, HR will get back to you. When that meme is true is because the person doesn't get back. So when you say, I'll get back to you, get back to that person. Preferably give a timeline. I'll get back to you in 2 weeks. Make a note for yourself. Put a calendar thing, reminder for yourself saying that you have to get back to this person. You learn respect that way, right? People don't always want to hear good things. They just want closures, right? As an HR person, I can't keep every employee satisfied. And whichever HR tells you that is lying. I can say that point blank, right? You can't keep everybody satisfied. So many different people, so many different demands, right? But if I give them closures, their experience is better, right? So I'll get back to you on that is not necessarily a bad thing, provided you get back. Okay? Okay. This is so important. Giving and receiving feedback without crying or crumbling. Most of the top performers resort to crying or crumbling. If they do not score well in their IJPs, IJP is basically an internal job transfer, or if they, kind of they are given feedback which is not, which they feel like, which they didn't expect, basically. What is the statement they give? I was a top performer in college. How can I get, how can I not do well? But isn't it possible? Getting good grades, is it equivalent to doing well on your job? How many of you will say yes? I'm not discouraging you to not study. Huh? Getting good grades is a good thing. Okay. I think it's always a first impression. It brings discipline. It helps you kind of learn so many different subjects, some of them which you may not be interested, but that develops your muscle mind as well as your perception, right? So I'm not against getting good grades, but it's not necessarily equivalent to being a performer on the job. Okay, so be open to feedback. Be curious. Be curious. If they have told you something, just say, okay, why? What did that person see that I didn't? Ask questions to understand what went wrong. How could I be better? Right? Many people lose it in this part of it. Don't get defensive. Get curious. Ask. Try and understand. There are two types. Some people will say, they will take every feedback as a personal attack. The other lot is they'll absorb everything as a sponge and they will go into a downward spiral of overthinking for the next 72 hours. Don't do that as well. Okay? Understand. Ask questions to understand and implement wherever you feel you can be better. And everybody thinks that only when they are managers they can get a chance to give feedback. It's not like that anymore. You have a feedback you can give feedback from day one, even if that means your manager. What you need to do is just use this approach: situation, behavior, impact. Right? You'll have to give feedback to a colleague also. Right? Like, I'll give an example. Like, I was giving a presentation, and it was to the senior management, and one of my colleague was constantly interrupting when I was delivering the presentation, because I had apparently showed him the presentation before giving the actual presentation, because I wanted to take his opinion, and just to be more, just to have a third eye and to be more well prepared and all. So he knew bits and portions of it, and he started interrupting. So which kind of, I got a little disoriented during the presentation. It broke my flow. So what I did is, I spoke to him the next day and I said, hey, in yesterday's meeting, your constant interruption kind of broke my flow, and I was not very happy with the way I delivered it. Right? So see, can you apply this to that? In yesterday's meeting, that was the situation. Your constant interruption, that was the behavior, interrupted my flow, that was the impact. Right? So this is how you can use this model. Okay? Be straightforward, be direct in a respectful manner. Be mindful about this. You don't have to be the reality king, queen, reality show king, queen, because you're not even going to get a reward for this. This is the only teamwork I feel you don't get rewarded, right? So avoid getting into gossip. Why do we get into gossip in the first place? Entertainment, politics. Okay. See, I think many of you all have FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Some of them it's maybe entertainment. Some of them, do you know, one of the this would actually be that the person themselves is feeling flawed, but maybe talking about someone else who is also flawed can kind of magnify that and make you feel better, right? So that's not necessarily a good trait to have. So stay away from it, right? I think you have this fear of missing out, but missing out on what? Missing out on what? What will even you do knowing this gossip? Is there anything valuable coming out of it? But I think you can lose your credibility if you're caught as a part of it, right? And this is not only applicable to corporate world, this is applicable to your college life, real life. I think it just drains your energy. This, learn to deal with difficult people professionally. This, you remember I made that statement about, okay, you know how to deal with people, your work is half done. So basically, I think you have to be kind, you have to be respectful, but you have to communicate, or you have to convey your points, right? Like, I gave you the example of the presentation part of it. Golden rule: respond, don't react. I know this sounds like a cliche, but what does it mean? Sometimes you do react, I understand. But have any of you all been in a situation where you all have reacted and then regretted it? Right? So what do you do then in such situations? Do one thing, do an exercise maybe at home. If you'll see an angry email, just try responding it in anger. Keep it in draft and don't send it. Then take some time out, calm down, and then write another email when you're in the right frame of mind and see the difference. We'll do that. See the difference. You all will be able to see it. I won't give you all any additional gyan on this. You all will see the difference. Managing your manager. Oh, that's a thing. I know you all. How many of you all think this is even possible? Only one person thinks it's possible? Oh, now I see a couple of hands move. But why so few of y'all think it's possible? What if I tell y'all I'm managing my manager? But why? Okay, give me a few answers as to why y'all think it's like, why so many of y'all feel it's not possible or it's. This is actually self care, you know. If y'all know this, it's actually self care. You'll know your manager, your mental health will be in the right place. Somebody wants to say something. Yes. Good evening. Hi, Gaurav. Hmm. Okay. Very valid point. Very valid point. Thank you, Gaurav. But that's precisely because you can have a seat. Have a seat. Thank you. So this is precisely because you don't know what managing the manager is. It's not telling your manager what to do, what not to do, do this, do that, this is not right, that's not right. It's basically understanding their priorities. Now, if I have worked with a manager for 8.5 years and then I switch organizations, I'm in a new organization, and that the other manager has a totally different style of working. One manager likes everything precisely mentioned on an email. The other manager likes more in-person discussions. One manager likes it discussed in just bullet points. One manager likes, it being like a proper presentation being made and explained and all that, right? So it's about understanding their priorities and dealing accordingly. It's not about telling them, nothing to do with their seniority, nothing to be, do it this way, that way. Of course, you can always suggest, but yeah, it's not about that. It's basically about understanding them, understanding their personality type, understanding their management style, learn their communication style, build trust through consistency, constantly asking them what is a priority. There were times where I've done really horrible mistakes of assuming and working as per what I felt was a priority, right? Only to understand that when I'm halfway through, I realized that this was not a priority, something else was a priority. Had I asked my manager before, I would have understood. This is what kind of builds the trust, right? And these are some bonus skills. Owning your mistakes, right? Don't hesitate to own your mistakes. You've made a mistake. I'll tell you, there was an incident that happened just last week that kind of stopped someone from being a contractor to a permanent employee. It happened at a time where she was about to get on the payroll of the company. She was on a contract. She made some mistakes. And those mistakes were not like the unforgivable, but she had a lot of other excuses why she couldn't, which were not even like genuine, but she was just trying to make it up. That cost her getting a permanent role on the board just because she didn't own up, because her manager was of the opinion if she doesn't even understand that this problem could have been avoided, she could have just taken ownership and said, okay, I understood what the problem is, I'll ensure it doesn't happen next time. That would have resulted her in getting a permanent role, right? So don't hesitate. Okay, owning up your mistakes is not a bad thing. I can't emphasize enough on this. Okay, this is very categorically because now we are in the virtual, like, I know y'all probably y'all will have maybe sessions on body language, interactions and all, but now in the era of Zoom calls and Slack calls, I think many people don't realize how important it is to have that connect, that face to a name. There was one person who was, basically couldn't sustain in the corporate environment because she used to never come in front of the camera. She's interacting with managers in the US. They're having calls. Even when they're taking the calls from office, she's making sure she's not within the view of the camera. The manager, her manager comes back to me and tells me, first I thought, okay, what big deal? Maybe that person is just camera shy. But you know what the manager told me? It just doesn't build trust. I feel she's probably, even if she's taking it at home and not switching on the camera, she's probably in an environment which is not conducive to work, right? When you're giving your interview, you're giving it in person. So when you're in, when you're on a Zoom call, you might as well switch on the camera. There is very limited resources to establish that rapport with your manager if you're going to switch your camera off. There have been instances where managers couldn't get to the crux of what the employee was going through because it was virtual. They were switching off the camera and I think probably distracted doing 10 other things while talking to those person on Zoom calls. So it is probably not much emphasized on nowadays time, but I think it is definitely important. I've seen people lose jobs because of this. Managing your energy, not just time. What do you mean by energy? Sorry? Managing your energy. Yes, yes. Part of it, yes. Also, probably I can give you one example or give you one like advice. If you're angry, please don't speak in the moment. I saw one email which I was furious. If you could give a picture to it, you could put a red face, you could put smoke coming out of my ears and nose. What I did is I locked my system. I had coffee, which is like my favorite thing. I was just looking out of the window. There's a nice window with a nice view near where I sit. Then I calmed down and then I replied to the email, right? So if I had to reply in the spur of the moment, probably I would have not been where I am. Okay. So manage your energy, as just adding to what he said, is choose your battles wisely. You don't have to fight and like on every small thing. Understand the impact and choose your battles and take it up accordingly. Okay. So this is the skills checklist. I think this is all basically probably what we discussed. Can you have difficult conversations? Can you write clear, powerful emails? Can you take feedback without getting crushed? Can you lead even without a title? Right? Take ownership, take accountability. This is like some real talk. Uh, I've been there, hiring, firing, crying along with some of the people. Okay, seeing their careers either bloom because they have been a little mindful about how they interact with people, or burn basically in case they've not been mindful in their interactions, not been open to feedback. It's not just the resume. Many people focus so much in making their resume so fancy. We take around couple of seconds to be precise. Amisha will probably tell you, we just take couple of seconds to scan through it. But there are people who focus so much on the visual thing of the resume that sometimes they don't even know what is written in that, right? So be a little mindful of all these things. Okay, so success is equal to skill plus attitude. Okay. All right, so you are not just your grades. Okay, that is a starting point, but you're an entire brand in yourselves. So start right now. Don't wait till you'll complete your MBA. Start thinking on these things, start building your brand right now. Yeah, third point applies to me. Don't wait for life to teach you the hard way. Okay, I've recommended some books. For those who are interested in reading, we've talked about conversations. Crucial Conversations is an amazing book which has helped me personally, how to deal. And all these books or all these points that we have spoken about is not just about, it's not just related to corporate life. It is also related to your real life, how you interact with your friends, how you interact with your families, crucial conversations, atomic habits. These actually will help you grow professionally and personally. Okay. The what the CEO really wants from you is more to do with managing your manager. So these are some recommendations. I'll end here and I'll open up for questions. If you guys have any questions for me, I'll be very happy to take them up. Don't go on this meme. Your questions will be taken with a lot of grace. Any questions? Yes. No, I never said it doesn't matter. I mentioned that your marks are your first impression, right? It builds discipline. So I'm saying these skills are an extension to your marks, right? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, so taking that example very categorically, for those who didn't hear his question, he said that when you're taking decisions which may not necessarily be favorable to the team, how do you build that or instill that confidence? So he gave an example like, like in a, if you have to call people back to office or when we have to transition to a hybrid model, how do we kind of decide on the, how we do we convince the team? So here we do not kind of tell people, we don't put it as like, a policy that no, you have to come now. Now it's 2 days work from office, you have to come. We make them understand the why behind this decision. We take all the managers into confidence and we tell them that probably those 2 days why we are calling them is so that people can have that interaction. You're interacting with people, it cannot be restricted to Zoom calls, right? You have to have that personal interaction. Those 2 days in the week, probably y'all will not understand this now, but probably, I mean, y'all tell me, sometimes y'all sit on the having lunch across, or y'all just sit in a library and y'all do come up with some ideas or some interactions which is beyond the classroom, right? So similarly, we try to convey this to the managers. We convey our rationale behind implementing such decisions and then help tell them to communicate that to their team. So this is how we communicate. We explain the rationale. What is the thought behind this? Rather than just saying that you have to come. Did I answer your question? Yeah. All right. Good question, by the way. Yes.
Ma'am, you mentioned the resume scanning just now.
Yeah.
So nowadays resume are also scanned by the AI
AI, yes.
tools. So
Yes.
what skills should one have that to avoid it?
I think you should have structure. You have to have structure to your resume. It should not be cluttered. I think always mention your accomplishments on the top because we want to see what you have done over and above your regular roles and responsibilities. That is number two. And please read your CV before coming to the interview. Many people you'll be there were, I can tell you all some horror stories whenever we have time next time about how a person doesn't know what is written in the CV and then happens in the interviews and other stories. So yeah, these three things I would say be a little mindful of.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. So some colleges, I mean, some companies do have that criteria. I wouldn't say no. They keep it as a criteria because they have too many applications and they use this as one of the screening methodologies. But that being said, I think your degree does matter to answer your question in short. There would be companies on a smaller scale would be willing to, kind of give chances to people outside or, not keep degree as a criteria. But for the most of it, it is. you know, the knowledge you come with does matter. And if you get it on the job, well and good. But to start off, I think that degree does matter. Welcome. Yes, I'm sorry. Ma'am, how much time? Yes, yes. Yes, yes, please.
Uh,
I hope I'm not running out of time. Yeah, sure. Yes,
yes,
please.
ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good
Ma'am, my
evening.
name is Anish Sharma.
Anish. Hi,
Yes,
Anish.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I need to ask a question. Like, in today's time, every HR used to screen the CVs from ATS.
Hmm.
So, what kind of softwares do you use so that we can make our CVs in respect of that? So, if
So we use Workday, and we have not got to the AI methodology of screening yet. We have a very big team who does that, so we still have that human touch there. But that being said, I think the same answer that I gave to her, keep your CV structured. And again, I can't give you a one answer to this because different, tools will tell you different keywords or different structures. So I can't give you like a one size fits all answer to this. I would just say keep it structured, and like just mention your accomplishments on the top, and with your experience details. uh, Always keep flow, to the point. Like, don't randomly mess things up. Don't keep your CV cluttered. I've seen people with 7 8 CVs. Don't do that. I think 2 pages should suffice. If some of y'all, if y'all are just starting out, I think 1 page is sufficient. So try to keep it as simple as possible is what I say. Then it becomes even easier for the tools to read it. Try to
right,
avoid too much of design and making it too fancy. Yeah.
thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Middle row.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
Hello, ma'am. My name is Tripana Sarkar. Ma'am, in what interval of time an email should be replied back?
Usually it's 1 working day. That's the standard turnaround time. But that being said, you may not always have answers to respond to that email. So I would suggest at least acknowledge that email within 1 working day, saying that I do not have the required information, but I will probably get the required information and revert to your email within another 2 or 3 working days, depending how you anticipate the information coming to you. So 1 working day is a TAT, actually, turnaround time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. You all have been a lovely audience.
Now, I welcome Dr. Rashmi Mahajan ma'am, Deputy Director of Balaji Institute of International Business, to present the memento to Miss Christina Fernandes ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. May I now call up on stage student manager Stacy Sunny to propose a vote of thanks.
I, Stacy Sunny, student manager from Balaji Institute of International Business at Sri Balaji University, Pune, extend my heartfelt gratitude to Miss Christina Fernandes, ma'am, for gracing us with her presence and delivering a thought provoking session. It was enlightening to know the importance of managing people, communicating, and how giving and receiving feedbacks are important. We learn the significance of handling people, managing managers, and how the time and energy can be managed. I would like to thank you for informative and captivating session. Your ability to connect with the audience was truly impressive. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to the leadership and the management of Sri Balaji University, Pune for their support and encouragement throughout our induction program. Lastly, I would also extend the gratitude to our fellow student managers for being an amazing audience. Thank you.
No, I'm not come to give you all another lecture. I just came, to tell all of you all congratulations. You all are officially in the MBA zone now. Wish you all the best and work hard and hope to, we connect someday soon. All the best.
Dear student managers, there is a QR code displayed on the screen. Please scan it for the feeling feedback of the session.